You're listening to the Mezzo Guild podcast.
بس أنا لازم أحسه الأول عشان أقوله.
아직 나의 어색한 한국말이 짤따рат하고 지적하진 말아주세요.
Я хочу с тобой серьезно поговорить.
Gaeilge níos fearr agat. No, an chuid is mó daoine sa hír seo.
Language learning made simple. I'm long overdue for an update. We're expecting our second child this week or next week. Daughter, to be exact. Really excited. You know, it amazes me how much life can change in just a few short years. It seems like only yesterday that I was gallivanting around the world as a single guy with nothing else to do but learn languages all day. Fatherhood has kept me so busy, but it's been the fulfilling kind of busy. My 20-month-old son has made enormous leaps in his language learning over the past few weeks. And I'm sure that most parents can relate to this. Your child hits these remarkable stages where their language development suddenly, like as if overnight, goes from wow to wow. I shared at the beginning of this new parenting journey of mine that I wanted to follow along and document my son's first language development. It's been an opportunity for me to observe and experience firsthand the things that I studied and speculated on in college. Only this time, instead of studying other people's kids' learning, I've been able to observe my own. I've always rejected the idea that adults are unable to imitate the process of children's first language development, and I've finally had the chance to properly verify that belief. And importantly, verifying that my own adult language learning approach indeed works. I've been watching my son's language development closely. We've just reached a stage where he's repeating literally everything that we say to him. This includes words and phrases that he's never heard before. He'll try to say what he hears the first time, even when his attempt is totally wrong. He's trying to learn, and his skills are snowballing. He associates utterances with objects, sensations, moods, people, and places. My son has recently started using final consonants, so he went from saying things like nai or nai, na, to night. Like he's put that consonant on the end. He's using 3-syllable words like octopus. He'll say ottapa. He's been using words together, so he'll say things like dad's phone, da phone, for dad's phone, pi moa for Pete's mower, is a next door neighbor. Shit da, sit down, fit it, fix it, hep mama, so helping mama. Or he's even saying, Dad, are you? Dad, aru, where are you? So he's comprehending larger sentences at normal speed as well. He'll not only understand like single word commands, but he'll also understand natural speed full sentences. But it's still kind of hard to tell if he's understanding the entire sentence or if he's just identifying the key words in the sentence. And he's also learned quite a few letters of the alphabet. He associates letters with names and objects. Although this is a totally different skill development to spoken fluency, obviously. At the end of the day, natural language learning is 100% mimicry of sound patterns. We hear sounds constantly and we repeat those sounds to the best of our ability. It happens often enough, like I'm talking thousands and thousands of times, that it sticks. Now, in the case of a young child like my son or an adult learning a language with unusual sounds, you're limited in what you repeat by the words that you already know, by the sounds that you already know. It's all about familiar mouth mechanics. For example, you know, in Arabic, you might hear the guttural ain sound, but you might produce it as a simple vowel, because that's the closest sound that you're capable of as an English speaker. And, you know, over time, that gets better as you practice. My son repeats everything. He repeats everything now. Like he'll repeat a word like computer, but he'll say pata. So the letter C, the consonant cluster, the MP, the mp, and the U sound are all kind of unknown to him, or he hasn't quite covered them yet. But he is repeating them in his own way. He's repeating what I call chunks. And this is a concept that I personally developed on the back of Michael Lewis's lexical approach. I've talked about this a lot of times before. I mentioned a few examples just before. Fix it, sit down, dad's phone. My son has acquired these expressions and many other expressions as whole patterns. He didn't acquire the individual words and the grammar to build the expressions, but he acquired the entire chunk. And this is how language is naturally acquired. Interestingly, also, my son has he started to use the possessive suffix s when talking about people's property. Papa's car, for example. He's acquiring and learning how to use grammar without any kind of explicit education. He's just grabbing it. He's just using it. And this is all through exposure plus repetition. And adults can, and I would argue should, learn the same way. So I am due for an update. I'm definitely overdue for an update on my Greek mission for this year. I realize it's been a long time since I shared about it, but hopefully once the baby arrives this week or next week, and life calms down for us, then I'll have time to go into some detailed updates about that. I've been experimenting over the course of my Greek study, and as well as Greek, what I've done is I've made a list of a few totally unknown languages to me, like Thai, Hungarian, and Mongolian. Ones that have kind of difficult sounds or different sounds, just unusual sounds to me, because I've never done these languages before. Because I really wanted to put the repeat what you hear process to the test for myself. And this is just as a way of proving to myself that my method does not just apply to languages that I'm familiar with. That even a completely foreign and unknown pattern of sounds can indeed be mimicked. So I wanted to take a few languages with sounds that are very, very new to me and see how well I can listen and repeat whole chunks without studying anything. No reading text or transcriptions if I can help it. Just exposure and repetition of the patterns I hear. Lots and lots of repetition. So in essence, really doing what my son is doing with English. So here's just a brief example with Thai and Greek.
คุณมาจากที่ไหน
คุณมาจาก
คุณมาจากที่ไหน
ที่ไหน
คุณมาจากที่ไหน
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 คุณมาจากที่ไหน คุณมาจากที่ไหน Θέλω να αγοράσω μερικά δώρα για την οικογένειά μου, τους συγγενείς και τους φίλους μου. Θέλω να αγοράσω μερικά δώρα για... Θέλω να αγοράσω μερικά δώρα...
Θέλω
να αγοράσω μερικά...
Θέλω να αγοράσω
Θέλω να αγοράσω μερικά δώρα... Θέλω να αγοράσω μερικά δώρα...
Θέλω να αγοράσω μερικά δώρα.
Θέλω να αγοράσω μερικά δώρα...
Θέλω να αγοράσω μερικά δώρα.
Θέλω να αγοράσω μερικά δώρα... Θέλω να αγοράσω μερικά δώρα...
Θέλω να αγοράσω μερικά δώρα. 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 So these recordings pretty much show what a typical study session of mine actually looks like. As you can see, it's extremely repetitive, it's prone to mistakes, lots of mistakes in the beginning, and this is why I'm always reluctant to record video, demonstrating the start to finish process of learning a language, because it's very, very gradual and it's pretty tedious. It is tedious, but that's the nature of language learning. It's a tedious process. It's long. Over time, these repetitive sound patterns that we continue to repeat and get exposed to, they become ingrained into our minds. And this has definitely been the case with me in Greek and other languages this year, prior to this year. So, patterns, the sound patterns themselves, they start to become habitual. They become a habit. We don't even realize it. Grammar, vocab, and what sounds right start to become natural. Now, traditional language study and reading can actually get in the way of learning. And I find that when I read text, it often gets in the way of natural acquisition. Instead of letting your ears get attuned to the sound patterns that you're hearing and allowing the mechanics of your mouth to adjust to mimicry, you're focusing heavily on visual representation, like letters on a page. You focus too much on that. And as a visual spatial learner, someone who likes to learn visually, it's extra challenging. When we speak our native language, we don't do this. Reading is a totally separate and a much later skill that is totally unrelated to spoken fluency, although it does help you build vocabulary. This is why I always emphasize that grammar study and literacy skills are learned in school years after you've already become fluent in your first language. I don't want to be visualizing text when I try to speak a new language. I want to be visualizing the object that I'm talking about and totally attuned to the mood, the intonation, and the flow of the sound that I'm producing or listening to.